Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through the 14K notes on laws of probability. At the end of this, you should be able to say I can find probabilities of conditional events and mutually exclusive events. Okay, so let's start off with what mutually exclusive events are. Those are events that cannot happen together. Okay, so for example, heads and tails can't happen on the same flip of a coin, and then rolling a 3 and a 4 cannot happen on the same roll of a die. All right, so those are just some simple examples. If A and B are mutually exclusive events, then the probability of A intersect B, and then we're also going to find the probability of A union B. So really, if you think about it, we've got these two mutually exclusive events that can't happen at the same time. So if you're going to draw a Venn diagram, it's going to look like this. So there's A and B. You can think of this as heads and tails if you want, or 3 and 4. So the probability of A intersect B, there is no spot where where A and B intersect, right? So then also with that, the probability of A union B, A and B together, is just going to be the probability of A plus the probability of B, because that would be this and that. Okay? All right. With that, when you have A and you got this line in between it here, this kind of extra long line here, this A and then line B, what the book tells us is that this is used to represent that that A occurs knowing that B has occurred. Okay, the way I like to think of it is this line means given, so you can read that as A given B. Okay, what that means is that we have what's the probability that A happens given that B is going to happen. Okay, so probability of A given that B happens. Okay. All right. For two events A and B, probability of A union B, this is really the same thing as or. Union means or. And then when you have A union B is probability of A plus probability of B minus the probability of A intersect, which means A and B has to happen. So this can be either or, and this will be both of them together. Okay, a way to look at that with Venn diagrams, here's the probability of A, the red stuff, probability of B, and then you subtract the middle piece here so that you get the probability of A and B, because this middle piece here got counted twice. That's why you have to subtract it out. Okay? Okay. All right, moving right along. Let's go to our first example here. Example 24 from page 486 has a class of 40, 34 like Vanilla Ice, 22 like Quiet Riot, and 2 dislike both musicians. If a student is randomly selected, find the probability that the student, and then we'll do these 4 different scenarios here. Okay, so first thing we're going to probably want to do to make our life a little bit easier is draw a Venn diagram. All right, so here's a little Venn diagram. Here's Vanilla Ice, here's Quiet Riot, and then we're going to fill in all these spaces here. So really we need to figure out what just Vanilla Ice, just Quiet Riot fans, Vanilla Ice and Quiet Riot fans, and then neither artist or musician as they call them, right? Okay, so let's start filling it in. 34 fit into this circle, these 2 areas. 22 fit into these 2 areas. 2 dislike both musicians, so the only thing we know right now is 2 out there. So then we've got to fill in this here. So there's 40 total students. 2 of them don't like either. So 40 minus 2 gives us 38. So we know that 38 has to be these 3 pieces together here, okay? So we've got 34. Let's see, 34 that like Vanilla Ice and 22 that like Quiet Riot. 34 and 22, but we know that we can only have 38. Okay, so let's add these together. 56. So that's obviously way more than 38. So then if you do 56 minus 38, we're left with 18. So that should mean that 18 is what these both should share. Okay, so if 18 like Vanilla Ice, 18 like both, and we have 34 that like Vanilla Ice, we're going to take 34 minus 18. And that gives us, what, 16. And then 22 minus 18 leaves us with 4 here. All right? So let's just double check to make sure that this worked, to make sure that we should have 40 total people, right? 16 plus 18 is, what, 34? 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. And there's our 40 total people. Okay? That's probably the hardest part of this question, is just figuring out the Venn diagram. Okay, but now that we have that, let's figure out how many people like both musicians. That's simply the 18 right here. So again, once we have this filled out, the rest of this is easy. Likes at least one of the musicians, so they could like one or the other or both. So that's really all three of these sections here. And we know that 40 minus 2, we know that this had to be 38 in here. We already calculated that earlier, so that's 38. Okay. Now, this is likes Vanilla Ice given that they like Quiet Riot. All right. So, these are the people that we're choosing from. All right. So, let's see. Oh, I didn't actually find the probability of any of these. Let's go back to this here. Likes both musicians. Sorry, should be 18 out of 40. And again, I always like to have like percent answers. It always makes more sense to me. Or you can always do decimal or reduce fraction, either one. 0.45, so that's 45% chance. All right? And then if we do this one, this is really 38 over 40. So we do 38 divided by 40, and we get 95%. Okay. So now this one here, likes Vanilla Ice given that they like Quiet Riot. Okay. So really the way we would write that is probability of Vanilla Ice given that they like Quiet Riot is how you would write that. Okay. So that means the given that Quiet Riot, that is that's the total people that we're looking at. So we've got 18 plus 4 is 22. So there's 22 people that we're choosing from. Now, what are the probability that of those 22 people, how many of them are going to like Vanilla Ice? So that would be our 18, because 18 is in this section of Vanilla Ice and Quiet Riot. So it's 18 out of 22, which if we calculate that out, 18 divided by 22 gives us 81.2%. Oh wait, was that 81.2? No, that was 81.8%. Okay. And then, excuse me, the last one here, dislikes Quiet Riot, given that they like Vanilla Ice. So, here's Vanilla Ice. So that's going to be the bottom part. Vanilla Ice is 16 plus 18 is what, 34? Given that they like Vanilla Ice and they don't like Quiet Riot, so that's going to be these people that just like Vanilla Ice. Okay, so that would be 16 out of 34, which then gives us 47.1%. All right. All right. Let's see. We have one more example. I'm just going to put that on the second video, and also the second video is going to have the video break. You're not going to want to miss that one. So take a look at the second 14K video. All right.